Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of It's All Related. This week, we are on the go and the roll. I'm Sonia Choquette here in Paris this week, talking to my beautiful daughter, Sonia, Tully in New Orleans. We are focusing on the podcast that discusses all things intuitive, aware, guided in the flow of your spirit, and learning how to make that your normal everyday life. Hi, Son. How are you this week?
Hi, Mom. I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day here in New Orleans, and I am so grateful to be talking to you.
Yeah, same. Today in Paris, I can say was probably, at least in my experience, the first day of summer. I got up, I got out, I went for a beautiful walk, 2 hours along the river, and really felt a wave. Finally, I would say for me, for the planet, a wave of positivity. Just a wave of life goes on, life is good. Trees and flowers are blooming, birds are singing, humans are out enjoying life, and that is real. So it was really a nice way to start the morning.
I love that. And I always find for myself that when I am in nature and really just take a moment to connect to the wonder and awe of the cyclicalness of summertime, it just feeds my spirit. It's so calming to my nervous system. It's so beautiful and lush. And, for me is one of my favorite places to get intuitive inspiration. Even just this morning, I went for a walk in Audubon Park, which is a beautiful park here in New Orleans.
My favorite space with you. That makes my heart ache.
I know. I was missing you so hard. I actually ended up putting on some music and dancing by myself down the path because I was like, I miss my mom. And then I thought, you know what? I am just have to send you good vibes and move this energy through with some joy. So I was dancing for you. I wonder if you could feel it.
Maybe that's why I had such a good morning myself. We have to tell our listeners that every time I go to New Orleans and visit you, that was our daily routine.
Yeah.
Where we get up, get our little jugs of lattes or whatever, and go for a 1 or 2 mile walk through Audubon Park.
Yeah. And, just in the sense of quieting the noise, of just when I connect to my spirit, when it's moving, just being connected to you, it just is such a fun place to be inspired. It's like the new ideas drop in, new realization, and also just in the sense sometimes of embodying a new vibe. It's been interesting as of late because I've been getting back into my meditation practice, and I really recognize as an intuitive how much my ego intellect, my little monkey bar brain goes so fast and so spins and tries to figure things out and goes into story. And when I can meditate, when I can move, it helps to not only quiet the noise, but remind me of who I am, brings me to present. And one of my favorite things too is to just see everyone else on the path and just even connect to their spirit. I'm like, that's
that's kind of that's what I was doing today. I was walking along the river. I think it's just the first waves of either, Europeans that are visiting Paris or even people generally visiting Paris. There was a lot of enthusiasm, people walking along the river more than usual, but not so much that it was crowded. But as I was walking along, I thought, I don't care what anybody says or how dark anyone believes it is. This is the real humanity and flow, and it's sweet. This is humanity and flow. But I did get a download. Speaking of downloads in nature, when I walk, as you know, we both do. I talk to my guides.
Yeah.
And I was asking my guides, what do we need to know? We've been listening. The frequencies are changing. The vibration on this planet is shifting. Astrologers have been telling us quite intensely since the year of the fire horse, and then the Aries lineup, and the Uranus and Gemini. These are like never before in this lifetime. So I was asking my guides as I'm walking along, what's the biggest message or shift in awareness that could help us adapt to these new frequencies? Because just because there's new frequencies doesn't mean you're going to automatically assimilate to them. And you may, it's like when music changes. I remember when I'm in the 80s doing my dancing, my new wave dancing, and all of a sudden the 90s grunge came along. I couldn't vibe. It's like, well, where's my synchronistic, my syncopathic flow, synthesizer flow. I mean, what happened to that? This is a little bit, choppy.
Yeah.
Screamy. So it took me a while. I actually think I bypassed the 90s. I never did resonate with that. But I got the message that people need to ask themselves, do you have high soul esteem but low self-esteem?
Oh,
and I instantly
that.
got that. I instantly thought, well, that, especially for anyone who's inclined like we are to be highly sensitive souls, intuitive souls, empathic souls, I think that generally we do know of our soul value.
Yeah.
I think we know. I think the low self-esteem part, which was so interesting, is, and how many people we talk to waiting for someone to notice.
Absolutely.
And when they don't, I mean, that I noticed that when I was teaching certification advanced class last night, and I thought, these are such genius, gorgeous souls, but how many said, nobody sees me?
I know. And
I thought, I think that's where the seeds of that inspiration came from. But I thought two things.
Okay, tell me.
One, I don't know that nobody sees you. I was thinking, if you're a bright, sensitive, beautiful soul, you have high soul esteem, and you're not getting that mirrored back in appreciation, it's maybe because the people that you're surrounded by don't want you to know you're valuable. They get a lot from your giving and a lot from your generosity that they just want you to keep on giving. And they'll just happily keep on taking. Instead of you waiting around for them to acknowledge you, you have to acknowledge you. I know I've gone through several phases of that in my own life.
Oh,
and I think that generally we all have to. I think part of this new frequency is that we got to quit looking to kind of defining our values through the eyes of who's mirrored back to us and who's telling us we're worthwhile. Especially our souls. We got to say, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And raise our own sense of self-worth based on, I know my soul is fabulous and I don't need to hold out for someone else to say so.
And inherently, that you came in at a divine, miraculous manifestation of divine energy. I always have to remind myself that my body is a spacesuit. It is a spacesuit that works on planet Earth, and that my spirit is just not only brilliant,
blindingly brilliant.
Yeah. And it's like the moment that you take your first breath, and that means every single person on planet Earth. But the other thing that you were also just saying around waiting for other people to recognize you, I can find that a lot of times that is that's your ego. It's also your ego, and different frequencies of ego. So for example, I can think of, somebody in my life who is so in their barking dog ego. My gosh, the whole way that they identify themselves, what they talk about, how they how they try and be seen by others is constantly through their accomplishments, why they're important, that for myself is like suffocating when I'm in that type of conversation.
It is, and it is draining.
Yeah.
You can really tell if you're an ego energy with someone, because the longer you are listening to them, you get your body, it's like it starts to melt.
Definitely. And as empath for myself, and I can see this even, having grown up in our family of where I got mirrored, got championed, but I've had my own journey of having to recognize my raising my self-esteem to match my soul-esteem. Because when I was a kid, I went to French school and I was really sensitive and really shy. Sweet is how people always describe me.
You were so sweet. And I sent you to the piranhas. What was I thinking?
No, but it's not that. It's part of my own soul evolution. So grateful that I speak French, but I think it would have happened almost anywhere that I was.
Well, because probably that was your soul journey.
Part of my own soul journey of not over giving. And when I was younger, I remember I had what I wouldn't say a friend.
No,
a friend, but even in the same place of my
a frenemy.
A frenemy. I mean, it was a bad frenemy, But even just the person in my life now, where now I have self-esteem and soul-esteem, of where I can see through that lens that the low self-esteem that buries their own soul brilliance. I feel like, and that's when you're in deep ego frequency. But when I was younger, what I would do as an empath, intuitive, is constantly try and mirror as their soul back to them, but didn't have the tools. So it was a black hole of over giving. And with that, what I wanted, which I unconsciously wanted, was a mirroring.
Back to you from your peers.
Yes.
I get that too, because I had that mirroring at home.
Yeah.
What I had different for you is a lot of siblings, so a little more mirroring.
Right.
But when I went into the world, I was mirrored back as weirdo.
Same.
Big time weirdo. I was mirrored back as the people called me psycho, weirdo, sicko. And it didn't do much for my self-esteem either.
No, well, we're wired to belong. We are wired to belong. So, you might belong in your family, but we also need community and other places of where we're reflected back in our friendships and, in school, different places. So it's kind of reminds me of the book, Are You My Mother? It's like, are you going to see me? Are you going to see me? Are you going to see me? And if I try hard enough, if I give enough, if I'm loving enough, I'm patient enough, if I
talk enough to your soul, it'll wake up and mirror back.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is the journey of the empaths of this world, the intuitive, sweet souls, is who need that mirroring. And the world has been unkind to that sweetness. I believe, and I'm forever the eternal optimist plus teacher out there banging my drum.
Yeah.
That the world is starting to, at least the souls are starting to rise and recognize those who can see them and mirror them and help reinforce the value we bring.
Well, yes.
But I know, and I don't know if you feel this, but what I've noticed both in myself personally and in my clients is an awakening of what I call the real yuck factor.
Okay.
Of the things I'm just not going to undo myself with anymore. It's like all of a sudden I see places where I was conditioned through culture, through patriarchy, through all that negative mirroring to tolerate a lot.
Yeah.
And the crime is the overgiving in the buried desire of please see me. Please wake. Well, it's both please see me, but it's also, and I want to wake you up because this you of your soul is a happier version.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not an all or nothing, but I do know all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of, it's been happening in waves.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of forgiving behaviors, but no, I wouldn't call them forgiving. That's not
the right word.
Behaviors I've tolerated.
Okay.
That I knew just were people being arrogant, disrespectful, not even necessarily to me.
Right. Right.
But just watching this.
It's not personal.
Yeah, just watching this and, kind of spiritual posturing, the ego, spiritual posturing where it's not really spirit. It's not really, because you could tell because it's not love. You don't feel good.
Right. Right.
You still feel judged. You feel separated. You feel a bit drained. All of a sudden, I used to it's sort of like the emperor's new clothes. I would just go along with it go along with it just for social grace. And now it's yuck. For me, it's a yuck factor. It's like, I got to go.
Oh, absolutely.
I cannot be here. I cannot do this. I'm not rude, but it's not even mental. It's just my body energetically cannot be around energy that is
incongruent.
Not this incongruent and there's a whole frequency of people out there that are like energetic predators
or vampires.
And vampires who will pull on and just keep sucking the goodness out of souls with indifference to that.
There are a lot of times, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like a lot of times they're just not even aware. They're just like not in their body. They're not even, I mean, there's different notes and there's all, but and
I don't even want to say, watch out for the vampires. That is not my point. My point is the soul-esteem is not enough. That you need to become your own champion. Absolutely. And not arrogant, but your own. You need to start recognizing your goodness, your sweetness, your wonderfulness, and not let it lie in the hands of random others who may or may not be aware. I think that's the point. I am not being negative. I am just saying the bigger yuck is, why am I looking to you to mirror me? Clearly, this isn't going to work out, and I need to do it for myself now, and not in a way that I am conflicted about. No, I say that because I was raised Catholic, and being raised Catholic, you were really shamed to have a healthy self-esteem.
Well, definitely.
That was I remember your father, when we were dating years ago, he told me he used to pray for how much suffering and punishment he could take every day, because that was what he thought made him a good person.
Well, that was just the conditioning of the Catholic Church and the nuns. It makes me hurt.
60 years ago,
right? And in his constellation of
it was a whole generation.
Yeah,
it was generations, but I actually think that's part of what's collapsing. Well, and not to be so esoteric, we just need to start saying, just recognize your soul is wonderful, but you also need to be the person who carries that knowing with you instead of walking around hoping someone else will recognize it.
Yeah.
Because the chances are they won't.
Yeah. And even if they do, that's a beautiful reflection. It's a gift, but it doesn't empower you. Because still,
it doesn't.
It's that ego. That's that ego intellect, which isn't bad. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. You're making a good point. It's trying to have you belong.
Yeah, but also you made a good point, because I was talking to a client who is really genuinely wonderful. She's a teacher, and she just is devoted to her 5th and 6th graders. She works on a reservation, actually. I have actually several teachers who I have worked with over the years that do, but her whole life is devoted to these kids
and seeing them.
And she just recently got promoted and recognized for her talents after years and years and years, but it didn't fully land. She was her frequencies were so used to being overlooked that when she got witnessed, it bounced off. And I think that was also part of the message today when I was walking with my guides is do receive gracefully.
Yes.
The acknowledgements that are coming because they're coming.
Yes.
So what was not there, that also is going to change. People are starting to become more conscious. So when someone says you're wonderful, don't let it just bounce off.
Oh, yes. Taking it in. And for myself, one of my practices, because what I've noticed was when I was younger, I felt a need to immediately give it back. No, you're wonderful. Like, and it's not about whether they aren't, but it was a way of trying to be maybe even inclusive, but it was also just a way that I blocked it. It was like, I actually don't, there was a fear of being centered and centered in self, or the fear of being like the center. I can receive, and it's not selfish. It's not being humble. But the grace of gratitude. So now it can be so deeply conditioned because I am an enthusiastic babe. My love language is 100%. And one of my gifts, truly, one of my intuitive gifts is seeing people wherever I am in the world.
More than that, seeing and celebrating.
Yeah. And it's such a natural part that I don't even recognize, but the place of a pause. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm taking that in. And actually one of my besties, Nahaya here, who I love, was one of the first people who really modeled that for me. She was like, thank you for that. I received that, is what she says. And
nice.
I love that so much. And what a beautiful, graceful way of acknowledgement without having to instantly volley back. And, the better that we can, just even what I see with my clients, with so many beautiful beings, is that it's the more that we can receive support. And I say on the X plane, I mean, that's the physical plane. I can ask for help. I need help. Whatever it is, the more that I can receive, the more that I can also receive guidance and support from my angels, from the universe, because that ego part that gets protective doesn't block it. But the more that I can receive support from the X plane, asking for help with grace, instead of going to the ego intellect that's like, oh, well, now I owe you, or it's too much, or I'm imposing, or whatever the story is. The more that what I can more gracefully receive from the X plane, the more gracefully I can receive from my guides, my angels, because we do inherently have something in our brains called the negativity bias. And it is hardwired evolutionarily. And back in the day, the negativity bias helped to keep us safe from saber-toothed tigers, from true danger. But now it often just becomes the critic in our head that, as I was saying at the beginning, talks a lot. And it's just a chatter that's not true. And when I can start to open up and receive support, it's like it opens me up to all of the little beautiful ways that I am being helped and supported, and that raises my soul-esteem, which I love this term. I love this term so much that it's like, oh no, I don't have to do. I can also just be. And that's a shift. And just even to this place of soul esteem is, that we don't have to perform. What I was talking even about when I was younger, or just sometimes paying attention to these energies when I'm maybe in a new social situation, or I'm not totally being present, and there's a part that like wants to fit in, I'm scanning and all these things. There's a part that can be, and performative is a strong word, but it can be like really try hard. It's like, oh, I'm gonna mirror you back, and I'm gonna do this. And there's a part of myself of just learning that I can just be and relax into myself, and that's enough, instead of constantly having to output energy.
Are you ready to experience a glorious life? One in which your intuition guides you in every single decision that comes your way, and you feel the constant support and assistance of your spirit guides and your angels watching your back, opening doors, pointing you in the right direction, and keeping you out of harm's way? And how about a life where you actually succeed in creating the life you want? Well, that is all possible if you sign up for my brand new first time ever masterclass, Your Glorious Life, a 6-week life-changing transformational journey teaching you how to trust your vibes, how to listen to your guides, how to connect and make sure you create what you really want. Sign up now. The class begins October 20th, and I don't want you to miss out. The link is in the notes below.
Well, I definitely feel there's 2 elements to that. And the first is to start discerning who you're hanging around with. Because being able to relax and be yourself does invite assessment right now of, is that a realistic expectation given the people I'm with?
Yeah.
And if I'm not with people that make me feel good, there might be a little need to kind of clear the decks. This is another thing I have heard a lot of people talking about with my clients. It's like, why all of a sudden do I not want to be with anybody I used to hang out with? Mm-hmm. Why am I spending so much time alone? Even for me, I go through phases of that where your vibration, the planetary vibration is changing and we're vibration changing. It's like stations not lining up. And so if you are thinking, okay, soul-esteem, self-esteem, and I'm not with anybody, then that's okay. You're just in transition.
Yeah. Well, I often think of it even just from when I was younger, when I think about who my quote unquote best friend was. Lord, was not a best friend as an adult. I'm like, poor baby Sonia. But in that
same... Oh my God, you had a friend that
you
I tried.
But it's your own journey. It's my own journey.
I eventually recognized that.
Yeah. And having to trust, and I can't even imagine being a parent and having to trust your child's spirit enough, and having to try and just mirror them as they're in this incubator of, like, as a parent, like being a babysitter for God, and being like, I can water this garden by helping to mirror my own self-esteem, because that's often too with clients. I'll be like, how do I teach my kids? I'm like, we see. We see.
Right, they learn by what you do.
Yeah, not by what we tell them. And I even remember with that friend, of where my soul esteem, my self-esteem, that was my own journey. It's like musical now. It's the vibration, my own vibration, because I buried myself, was lower. And then as I raised my vibration, it's like all of a sudden the energies become discordant. It's like, it's not a match. And it was really interesting. Yeah. I was really interesting because, this was my best friend. We were there all the time together, and I hadn't seen her for a few years. And I remember I was in Chicago, and she came to spend time, and I thought, this is going to be great. I'm so interested. I wonder. And just in seeing her and in spending time and having discernment and clarity, it wasn't judgment. It just was, wow, you were part of my journey, and I love you from over there, but we're no longer a match. We're no longer a match. We're no longer in key. And with that, it's like, as we grow, we can outgrow people or conditions. And again, the head goes black and white, good or bad, but it's a different channel. And now with this person who I was sharing with you in my life, who can be very, very barking dog, but I am in connection with, I now use it as a meditation of for myself. If I see you, I can appreciate what you bring. And I also can not have to engage in the same way. And I can have distance, and that can be loving. You know, it's like it can be loving. It's not one or the other. Because sometimes, you know, sometimes you don't have a choice. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's somebody's partner. Maybe it's a coworker. It's all of these things instead of the same. One of my favorite tools that you have reminded me even as a kid is observe the energy. Don't absorb the energy. And just as an energetic practice of staying in your own vibrational field.
That's where the daily walks help.
Yeah.
That's where being in nature helps. That's where putting your phone down and not scrolling and being present really help.
It's true.
Because you can't stay in your field if you stay in your head.
Truly.
You can't. It's one or the other. Because if you're in your head and you're in the technology tsunami, you're in the technology field. You're not in your own field.
Or even in the doing field. Having to do.
So,
one of my teachers, who Anna Maria, who I really love, I did this workshop of hers. And one of the things that really stuck with me was she says discernment. And discernment is just seeing, it's not judgment. I can see the whole picture of someone, like I was talking about with my friend. Discernment comes naturally when we're present. And I was like, what a beautiful truth. So just in that same place of slowing down enough to allow, it's like my mind, my body, and my spirit to arrive, that naturally brings in the gift of, okay, I can see all of you. Is it a match? Does this feel good?
Exactly. But I want to address something else as I'm listening to this, because this is something I just went through. It was very interesting. When we are present, what part of you is present? Because I was talking to someone who was filtering everything through their own wounded barking dog, and what they were, what was actually being said versus what they were hearing were light years apart.
Right.
Light years apart. So you have to ask yourself, what channel are you committed to? Now, with the change of frequencies on the planet, I know more and more people. I see it. I experience it. I am in awe of it, actually, how much the mainstream is starting to wake up to the soul and spirit of who we are.
I know, it's such a beautiful thing.
That is not my experience for most of my life.
I know.
It's shocking that what's happening in a good way.
Truthfully.
It is shocking. I mean, we used to have to be braced for the pushback.
Oh, gosh.
Hi, how are you? What do you do? You're what? And just people just really having a hostile reaction to things are changing. But if you have a very strong internalized habit of putting yourself down. So say you have a gorgeous soul, because this is pretty common. You are loving, you are generous, you are giving, but you have not been, that's not been mirrored back to you. You've been criticized, you've been laughed at, you've been unappreciated or put down. Be clear not to internalize that voice.
Yeah.
First of all, have it be a running commentary and then project it onto everybody.
Yeah.
Like she was, I was talking to a client and I said, I acknowledged her. She had been working on an art installation and she had finally pulled it off. And I said, that is so incredibly impressive that you did it. You conceived it. You got the grant money. You pulled it off. You're putting up this local art installation in your community. And she instantly, before I even got this full sentence out, said, oh, you say that to everybody. You don't really mean that.
The deflect. Yeah.
So deflect that not only was it not receiving, as we talked about in Ahaya so graciously modeling, but challenging me and projecting that I'm just being a bunch of BS.
Right.
And I said, well, hold on a minute. Who are you talking to? I said, I hear that. But who is talking and who are you talking to? Because we just jumped out of the conversation you and I were having.
Right.
And I don't know where you went and who you're talking to, but it's not me, because I'm just appreciating this beautiful creation you pulled off and that it wasn't easy to do.
Yeah.
So she said, oh my God, you're so right. I don't even know who I'm talking to. And I said, well, it robs you of the satisfaction of what your beautiful soul brought art to the world. To me, that's one of the highest things you can do.
Definitely.
To bring beauty to the world. And then but you did it, but you don't have a place to allow for that to be received and recognized. And you know what? You need to, or you won't keep doing it.
Well, just in that too, when you're talking about creativity, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's a beautiful meal, whether it's a garden, whatever, we come in as inherently divine creators. And when we're in our creativity, we are in our most authentic self. You are instantly you are in your spirit. You're instantly present. And to see and appreciate that, because the other thing that it reminds me of is, the ego intellect tells stories that repeat over and over and over again. And it poisons our imagination garden. It poisons our beliefs. And how committed are you to the old, wounded story reality? And hearing about your client who made this beautiful art that said, oh, you say that to everybody, that deflection, I'm like, wow, that is some place that you got wounded in your life.
But more than that, and that's what I was putting to her, you have decided that you're going to just use that wound as part of your identity.
Exactly.
And that's like part of what we have to let go of with this new frequency. Don't let that cross the threshold.
No.
Let it go. I mean, the human journey is tough. We've all just had to fumble our way through a lot of unconsciousness, and there's a lot there. Who can deny that? But to be the bringers of the light, we have to be the beers of the light.
Yeah.
And not light, like mentally impressed, kumbaya. I'm, light, like lightness of heart and spirit, and like the soul-esteem and the self-esteem have to converge.
Yeah.
They're not different.
No. And with that, what I'm thinking of when you're in your light, and I find it for myself of raising my self-esteem, it's had to be an intentional practice of training my pet. It had to be an intentional practice of, these are the things that I know about my spirit. My spirit is adventurous and playful and creative and deeply loving. And I affirm that to myself. That helps to train my pet to be in service to my spirit, because the beautiful thing is it's amenable. We can get on these. I even remember when I was younger on my own spiritual journey, I got into, it was perfectionism masquerading as growth, because there was it's almost like the goalpost constantly kept getting moved instead of celebrating. I love all of myself. I love myself as a messy person, a courageous, it takes courage to incarnate into a human body. And I love all of it. And where I am learning and where I am growing isn't mean that something is wrong. It's an evolution and a way of purifying my consciousness that helps to evolve our consciousness on planet Earth, that ripples out. I mean, when I'm with people who are in their spirit and have high soul esteem, high self-esteem, whether or not we speak the same spiritual language. It's so beautiful because it's like a candle in the dark that then can light another candle and another candle and another candle and another candle just by being, not doing. And the doing can come from sharing what you love, sharing your creativity, sharing those from a place of ownership that is transformative and a lot more simple. So here's one of my beautiful things. And this is just even comes down to recognizing yourself as spirit. One of my favorite tools is name what you love about yourself. Name it as a practice out loud.
Well, we could even upgrade that tool because our self-esteem, soul-esteem. I'm just thinking the tool of the week is how about if we start seeing our self-esteem and our soul-esteem is the same? And that what you love about your soul, you celebrate yourself.
Yeah. And just in the little ways of celebrating your successes. Like, wow, I did that. It's amazing. I made a beautiful meal. That's one of the ways that I do it. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. Look at this gorgeous. Right. Oh my gosh. Look at this beautiful thing that this beautiful canoe for me that I made, or this, and look at how fun that is, because it's such a fun, easy way to help retrain and bring those things to congruency. I love that. I love that. Okay, well, wow. We had a lot to say, and I love this.
We obviously did. This was a deep dive, and we both need, and these are the kind of conversations that if you can find a friend in your life to have them with, this is the mirroring that will help us all move and acclimate to these new earth frequencies as our new normal. Because the conversations pre-shift have been what's wrong with me conversations.
Yeah.
And the new frequency can be the what's so wonderful about me conversations. And we can go back and forth. That could be the tool of the week and maybe the tool of the new life.
Oh, I love, 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 love that. I love what a beautiful tool. And you know what? If you have struggled with it, good place, ask your guides and angels for help. Ask your guides and your angels for help, because that's also just another beautiful way that we can learn to receive.
I'll just go back to, if you're not getting a lot of positive feedback, I remember one time I was talking to this friend and I learned something from her. I was just at a down point. And she listened to me for a while, and she was just kind of giving me positive feedback. And then she said, okay, now we need to stop, and it's your turn. Now I get to have you tell me what's great about me. And that was just, I remember that it was like 27 years ago, and I changed forever after that. Like, okay, I need to know that it's a your turn, my turn dynamic, so that we go back and forth instead of free fall into our own soul examination. Like a little bit of me and a little bit of you also balances self and soul esteem. Just taking your mind off of you a bit in a good, healthy way.
100%.
Based on the fact that I'm good.
Yeah.
Can also be an excellent part of this tool of the week.
I love, love, love this tool of the week. I'm going to put it into practice today because we're the light bringers.
Yeah,
we are the light bringers. Yeah. And that just is what we need right now in the world. Even going all the way back to what you were saying at the very beginning of just going for the walk and seeing all the beautiful people, because with so much information and input, we can just start to believe that everything is evil and bad. But when you look in the micro, there's so much goodness. There's so much beauty. There's so much wonderfulness. And that's
everybody's out. Mostly everybody's out just doing their best.
I
mostly.
Everybody is doing their best. They have sometimes they have really bad pets, or just they're really untrained, but it's not personal.
Just mostly, So with that in mind, do you have anything? Do you have anything coming up before we go to the question of the week?
No, I actually have one spot open for mentoring. I might even be full. But actually, at the moment, if you're interested, get a reading. I do intuitive soul readings, and this is one of the gifts of I find of this work, of seeing who you are, of remembering your gifts and looking at what's going on in present time. And again, it's a beautiful healing thing that you can do for yourself. So if you're interested in getting a reading, you can go to my website, soniatelli.com. I just would absolutely love to connect with you. And I know that you got something coming up, Mom. What's going on?
I'm speaking to the fact that, frankly, the planet is phenomenally changing. And as someone who has been in the long game here, really, it is changing. The frequencies that have long dominated this planet are lightening up. And even though our mind hasn't maybe registered, they are. And so I was guided to do a channeling and a transmission on how to manifest in the new earth frequencies and on the solstice. So I'm going to be channeling my guide Joachim and the Emissaries of the third ray. These are guides I work with. These are guides that wrote 2 books through me. One is Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose, and the other more recent one was Soul Mastery. And other guides coming in to talk about the manifestation rules are changing.
Yeah.
And what are the new manifestation rules? So on June 22nd, on June 20th, I'm going to be doing the first frequency transmission. And with that, you will also get a specific to you blueprint and guide on how to what you personally need to shift. So that's going to be coming up. And it's called Speed Dial Your Guides, Manifesting in the New Earth Frequencies. And then on the 22nd, I will be addressing with the guides, channeling how to remove blocks energetically as habit in your field. So there's going to be a link in the show notes about that. You can sign up to join that. I think it'll be very helpful to learning to leave the survival and struggle and isolation frequencies of the old earth behind and really embody a more joyful light availability and ease in life. So I'm very excited about it. And I'm excited because when I channel these things, I receive it too.
I know.
So that's coming up it's the solstice, June 20th and June 22nd. But you can sign up for your spot in that right now.
I love it. Is it also recorded if they can't make it live?
Yes, it is going to be recorded and you'll still get your blueprint. So even if you can't make it live, you'll still get the frequency. You'll still get your guide, your guidance, your particular messages and instruction on how to get out of your own way. And it's a big transmission, but I really love doing it. And I'm really excited to bring this frequency. The planet needs all the lightening up support we can give each other. So I'm very excited about what that's going to do.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I mean, I just know even I was saying this to you after class because we just finished our intuitive certification. I've been in your classroom since I've been a baby. And the transmissions of being in that class. And I mean, truly, Mom, you're at a different frequency now. Truly. I am proud of you. I am proud of you. I
appreciate that. And as are you.
I am proud of you. Hey, I receive it.
I receive it too. Thank you. Good call. I receive it. I definitely feel like I'm ready to really empower everybody as far as I can. So to that end, if you feel like you are called to do this kind of work, which is part of the new, then we can also sign up for my wait list for when the next cohort to become a gift certification coach will be coming back around. So that is the glory of my life.
I love that.
And
I love that.
So excited. So please, check that out as well.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm so excited.
It's been so much fun working on this particular training with you. It's like it's a highlight of not just of my week, it's a highlight of my life.
I know. Same. I know. We honestly I've really known each other afterwards and cry tears of joy and are so happy. It's
right.
fun.
It's tears of joy.
Truly. Well, so yeah, please come check out the show notes. You're already a part of our soul family and we're so grateful. So as talking to our beautiful soul family, now it's time for our question of the week. And if you want to write us, you can write us at itsallrelatedpodcastquestions@gmail.com or vibecheck@soniatully.com. And this week we have a question from our dear listener, Kim. Kim writes, I'm extremely scared of heights, and my daughter Danny talked me into going parasailing with her in Costa Rica. It was quite memorable. I couldn't wait to get back to Earth while she let her arms go with total joy. She loves adventures like skydiving, parasailing, ziplining. In fact, all three of my kids are into these adrenaline experiences while I dread them and spend most of my trip trying to process if I should go push through it or not. I spend sleepless nights and sweaty hands trying to assess if I should go for it and join them. Their dad loves each adventure and dives right in. I always feel like the oddball and struggle with my heavy fear. My question is my struggle to read fear as an intuitive guide and a message to listen to versus a teacher inviting me to push through and transform? Thank you, Kim.
Well, Kim, I hate heights too. So I think two things are going on here because I also have put myself in those moments of parasailing and I think that you don't have to make this a soul proving moment of inclusiveness. Your soul loves the earth.
Yeah.
It loves the earth frequency. It's empowering to you. And maybe the family has a lot of earth frequency and it loves the feeling of being lightened up. I'm not a great fan of water either. I will go to the ocean. I will get in, but you're not going to see me racing to it. And I don't particularly feel like it's because, and I do feel this, and we're getting it a bit over our heads here, but past lives, I know I have gone down in icy cold water. And so I'm not exactly needing a water experience of any, and I'm not afraid like, oh my God, I can't. It's a preference.
Yeah.
So I'd say rather than make this a soul test, it's a preference.
Yeah.
If you can do it and you can enjoy it, you did it. I'd say I did it.
Tried.
My preference is I'll hold the bags while y'all go do it.
Absolutely.
Rather than make every single thing about a busting through experience, and don't judge yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Just in
that would be me. That would be my attempt. Is like, it's okay that we have preferences. We don't have to make everything a soul proving breakthrough. That's too hard and unnecessary. And a lot of ego is rolled into that. So, and fear. So, no, not for me would be my answer. And I love you. Have a good time. See you in 30.
Yes.
See you when you land.
Yes. And, just into that same point of the more that we know ourselves and even just knowing our spirit, what feeds our spirit, what takes care of us. And, I would say, because as you said, you tried it. When it's something that is control and makes your world really, I feel like when it's fear keeps you only in the familiar and makes your world shrink smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to it's just what you can manage, which ends up sometimes being a thimble. But when we can just even start to pay attention to the vibration, is this just emotion? Like, let's say, I'm afraid of going on a trip. I'm afraid of an airplane. It's like, okay, hold on. Let me just check and see if that is old or if that's really just something that is, as you said, not only a preference, but it's how my spirit works. We can just pay attention to these different things. And when we give it a shot, I remember even with you going ziplining in Costa Rica and you tried it and you were just like holding onto the pole the entire time, and you did it. And it was like, okay, I had that experience and that's not something that feeds me. And when we can be graceful and supportive, and within that, give ourselves permission to know what takes care of ourselves, it is a beautiful thing to have a champion who understands that. Like for example, my partner, Lane, isn't as social as I am. But when I go out, I love to dance and meet people and interact. And instead of him yucking my yum and saying, oh, you need to be with me or X, Y, or Z, he celebrates that. And we just have different energies. So just paying attention to that different vibe. And for myself, I don't try and force him to be different than how he is. I can have an invitation. He can join me, but I also can respect decisions and choices because we do know what takes care of ourselves. So I love this question. Thank you so much, Kim.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. And give yourself a break and be nice to yourself. My mom used to say, and a lot of people say, life is short. Don't make it miserable unnecessarily.
For real. We have to suffer enough in our human experience.
I know. We don't have to line up and volunteer for more. So,
I love that. Well, I love that. And I love you. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend. Come rate us on iTunes or Spotify. We absolutely love to hear from you. And more than anything, please write us. It's our related podcast questions. Vibe check at soniatelli.com. Share your stories, any topics. So to follow my mom on Instagram at Sonia Choquette, me at Sonia Telly Official. And we are so grateful for your time, for your energy, for your presence. And I love you, Mom.
Love you too, Sonia. Love all of you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.